One evening as the sun went
Here's the
down.
back of the 63 Airstream. I've already done quite a bit of work back here. These are new replacement taillights from Vintage Trailer Supply. As I remember, they were maybe about $50 a piece, a little pricey. This is brand new and correct. There was a different license plate bracket here that was not correct for the year, and it was all rusty, completely covered in rust. This is the, I haven't quite finished assembling this license plate light. These screws were all rusty. Everything that I do, I replace the fasteners with stainless steel. Stainless steel fasteners are inexpensive, they don't rust. Makes everything look a whole lot better. Here's a bulb for this. And by the way, the interior of this all fell apart, and I took the bulb holder parts out of the ones that I replaced here, the spring and the little fiberglass plates, out and repaired this unit. So I get that bulb in there. There we go. So I'm replacing this bulb with an LED just as an experiment. Use a little less energy, not that that really matters here. Here's the glass tube. Got to be very careful with these. There are replacements available, but they're about $25 a piece. And I had to be, it was a little bit tricky to get it out of this. There was a little grime and dirt and stuff in that hole, and I had to very carefully work and squeak that out of there. It took me about 10 minutes to remove it the first time without breaking it. Here's the cap that goes over it, and it's horribly rusty. So I'm going to clean that up, paint it black, which was its original color, and put it on there with stainless screws. It'll be beautiful when it's done. Just to show you what I took off of here, here's the backer plates that were here, and here is the faded out lenses that were on it. And the lenses look kind of okay. They were reusable, but they were, you know, with the back plates being rusty, and you know, this is a nice trailer, and it's, you know, when you get these bolt-on parts that are new that really add a lot of extra shine to it, it really adds to your workmanship. This particular light from Vintage Trailer, the back plate is all stainless steel. It was a little bit at Airstream, they didn't use the original rivet holes that were in the back plates. They drilled their own, so there were no holes in these back plates that lined up with the old rivet holes. So I had to position these and drill those, and of course I sealed up with silicone sealant the other ones that aren't being used, just in case some water gets back here. So just a little coverage of what I've been doing, and we've already buffed this. You can see my reflection in it, and this could be a lot better, but you can only do so much, and we would like to get through this season. Just this back panel, we probably have about 2 hours worth of work in the buffing. And I spent my free time between naps yesterday putting it back together. So we'll go to work now on the rusty license plate light lens cover, and this will get our project back here complete. Now this part's pitted quite a bit, but we're going to paint it with flat black. That's the original color, so that's not going to show very much. I'm going to use a wire wheel on my drill here to clean this up as well as possible. I actually own a sandblaster, but I don't have a large enough compressor, and I don't have it hooked up here, so we'll go with this method. I'm wearing safety glasses because these wires can sometimes come flying out of these wheels, and those are not very comfortable in your eyeballs. I'm going to do this work so if a wire does come out, it doesn't fly into my face. You should have safety glasses on because I might throw a wire at you. Yeah. See clouds of rust coming off of this thing. It's actually a really beautiful plastic red lens that you can buy to replace this. I chose not to do that because the red lens might appear to be a third brake light, and today's drivers might not respond to me braking because that center light didn't brighten. And besides, it's not correct for the trailer. But I just figure it's better to put it back to stock here. Be probably a little safer. Something interesting I've noticed as I've cleaned this up is a hole has appeared here. And it seems round enough and centered enough that I think it was probably original. I don't know, maybe an Airstream expert out there will tell me whether it is or not. Would like to have another one of these that's not quite so pitted. If you replaced yours with a lens, you don't mind sticking your old one in the mail to me, please do so. There's some lettering here. Something Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, that's back before Detroit was completely impoverished by the left. They actually made things there. I think they still make things there. But not as many things. I'm going to try this abrasive cup here. It's coming along pretty good. Maybe these little threads will get into little smaller places. Looks pretty good. Probably about as good as it's going to get on the outside here. Broke out the Dremel tool and a real small diameter wire brush. I want to clean up the inside here. I'll be painting that silver. I want to make sure that as much of the light as possible is reflected within this device, so that we light up the license plate properly. Besides, I don't want to leave this rust here. This will hold moisture, and the moisture will creep around and cause, rust to get under my black paint, so might as well clean this up while we're at it. See, that's cleaning up quite well. You see where I've been and where I haven't been. See a lot of commercials for Dremel tools, and they always emphasize you polishing things and doing projects like this. I very seldom ever use the Dremel tool for this. Usually I'm doing some cutting. This is a worthwhile purpose. Imagine this was originally zinc plated. We'll go ahead and buff that so it'll hold paint good. I think we're ready to paint. Restoring something like an old trailer isn't that difficult. It's just one job at a time like this. You can sit in front of the TV, surf on the computer, or you can actually do something, make something, craft something. Wow. What a difference a little silver makes. Yeah, I hope I don't get a run there. A little heavy on the paint. That helps to hide some of the rust pits though. Let that dry. While I'm waiting on the paint to dry, I'm going to work on another modification. This glass tube installs in the tail light to protect the bulb from water. And these are very expensive to replace. It fits in there very loosely, which is surprising considering how hard it was to get out. I'm going to make a tape band to put around one end of it to go in the back to keep it from contacting the metal. You don't generally want glass touching metal because often a crack can start there. I'm just going to make this little spacer, if you will, out of electrical tape. Now when you put electrical tape on something, if you want it to stay, you don't stretch it. The reason why it comes off is you've overstretched it. And the glue is a little bit, I haven't cut it well enough here. The glue always stays a little bit soft. So it slips over time under the tension of the vinyl trying to return back to its original length. Be very careful not to drop this. It'd be very stupid to break it at this point. So this metallic bore that this slips into, this will create a spacer that keeps the glass from touching inside the bore anywhere. At least that's my theory. I did stretch that a little bit. I'm going to cut one more piece and put it on very softly. And the secret, often, if you have put electrical tape on something and stretched it, and sometimes you need to do that for whatever reason, if you put a second piece on the other side, often wrapped in the other direction, and without any tension on it, that'll keep your whole assembly from falling apart. Make sure I find, okay, that's where I ended. Let's see, I want to go this way this time. I'm not stretching it. There we go. I put that back at the base so it shouldn't cost us too much reflected light. And then the cap, since it's metal, and I've painted it so technically it's not metal where it's touching the grass, but that's a very thin plastic, the silver paint. But I think I'm going to cut something to fit in there to press on the glass. I'm not sure what I'm going to cut yet, but I'll figure it out. Okay, here's the fasteners. The old rusty fastener that originally held the cap on. Now, I'm not sure what size this is. It's a self-tapping machine screw. I'm going to measure it. I've got a web page up right now for clearance holes. In other words, when you want to drop a fastener through a hole, what size drill bit do you need to drill that clearance hole? And I can use that information to figure out if this is a number 4, a number 6, a number 8 fastener. And the website says that a close fit clearance hole for a number 6, I think this is a number 6, is 144 thousandths drill bit. So let's measure this. The fastener is 133 thousandths. Now the next size down, a number 5, is 128 thousandths. So this must be a number 6 fastener, as I suspected. It's not very long, 331 thousandths, so 325, basically it's a 3/8. And I'm sure I could probably use a 1/2 inch too, so I'm going to go see if I can buy a stainless steel 3/8 number 6 machine screw at Menards. And there's our the measurement of our OD of the screw, 133. And we'll show you the website here. It's called engineershandbook.com/tables/taphole.htm. There's the web address. And here's the chart. And as you can see if I can get the tripod to hold still here. Down here at the bottom is the number 6, and it tells us the different threads per inch. There's number 632s, number 640s, what size drill bit to use for a 75% thread, what size for a 50% thread, the close fit clearance hole, and clearance hole is up here at the top, clearance hole, and the free fit clearance hole. So the free fit's 149.5. But there's plenty of charts on the internet. You can figure out what size hole you need to drill for various things, and you can use this chart backwards to figure out what size fastener you probably have. Now, since this is off of a 63 trailer, there's no chance at all that this is a metric screw. So I don't need to go any farther than this. And this chart covers a wide range of fasteners, as you can see. So the information's out there, it's just knowing how to look for it, what to ask for. So we're off to the store. Yet to be revealed, but quite true, I love to do leather work. Decided to make this gasket for this out of leather. Returned with the fasteners. Have a piece of goat hide here. Purchased some time ago. It's fairly thin. Purchased it to make some bushcrafting containers. So we're going to start by tracing around this. Yeah, ink pen's kind of gross, I know. Let's see. Okay, now we've got to, I want to cut the inside of this out because I want the center silver reflector to be functional. I don't want to cover that up with leather. So we'll center this up good. You can make gaskets out of a lot of things. You can use a playing card. Use gasket materials. Yeah, I think I have that reasonably well centered. I'm going to cut it out, cutting inside the exterior line. So hopefully it'll fit in the inside the cap without too much wrinkling. And we use some leather cement to glue it inside the cap. Leather is a wonderful, fascinating material. Definitely leather work is in the bushcrafting hobby. You should consider it. Now let's see here. Here we want to cut and leave the line. I have to get my scissors inside. There we go. I'll try to leave the line plus a 32nd or a 16th. This might be more easily carved out with a knife. Forget the exact model, but this is a Saranmu knife. Learned about this particular knife on the Skookum Bushcraft channel. Really neat bushcrafter. I wish he'd produce more material. This is a relatively inexpensive knife. I think I paid less than $15 for it. Absolutely the sharpest knife I've ever purchased. And it came highly recommended. Okay. So let's see how we're doing here. It looks like I'm just a little bit large, more ways than one. Let's see if we can trim a little material off of this. You know, no one's ever going to see this, but I'm going to know it's there. And I know I put a quality piece of material in there. Leather has a lot of neat capacities. I believe it was used in the Model T, or can be used in the Model T, for rod bearings. So, you do a lot of things with leather. Wonderful natural material. Alright, let's see if we're fitting any better. We got some very slight wrinkles, and I think the glue will hold that down just fine. Maybe I'll take off just a little more. I'm a little hard right there, I think. Hope it didn't take too much. That's pretty good. A little more internal trimming. May not mean anything to you, but it means something to me if somebody takes something apart later. Long after I'm gone, this trailer should get restored again, or perhaps properly restored for the first time. Anybody that takes my work apart, I don't want them to see anything second rate. I would like them, when they work on the trailer, to think to themselves that whoever had been there before had done a conscientious job. Everything they did well. Let's see. Now, should I make the screw holes? I think I'm going to make the screw holes now before I glue this together. I have a set of top quality Pittsburgh Forge hole punches. And I think this last one I selected was best. Put a circle there. The hole's going to be very close to the edge of the leather. Let's see. This table's not very solid. There we go. I'm going to have to get something a little harder to do this with. Excuse me, I'm going to go to a heavier table. Okay, the one I tore out the side, but it shouldn't matter too much. We can see light through those holes well enough to get screws through them. I think I'll just use a screwdriver blade as to spread this. This is Barge all-purpose cement, very popular in the leather world. It's a contact cement, which means you let it dry a little bit and it only sticks to itself. And I don't really need very much in here. I'm probably using too much. I just want it to hold this piece of leather in place. That's probably enough. I'm not going to let this dry fully before I contact it together, like I would if I was gluing two pieces of leather together before I sewed them. It sure is sticky. Just in case I want to reposition it. I don't want to make it impossible to reposition. This is really just an aid to keep it in place so it doesn't slip out of place when I'm putting it together. Well, it sure is sticky. So there we go. So that will push against the glass. And there should be no chance of me breaking the glass because it's against metal. And I took this glass out, I noticed there was a couple little tiny chips in it, so it could be broken very easily. I'm sure it's put together better than it ever was from the factory. There's a possibility this originally had a cork gasket in it. I didn't see any cork. So here's our 632 by 1/2 screws. They didn't have 3/8. Let me try these and see if the holes are threaded deep enough. Oh yeah. I'm going to handle this glass tube one last time. Attempt not to break it. Black tape or spacer side in. Sharp. Sure would hate to cut myself. Leather cap. You know, I see an area here that's not covered with paint very well. I'm going to stop right now and correct that. Okay, added another coat of paint. I'm seeing a little silver on one of the edges that I missed, and I'm installing my fastener since the hole in the leather is a little bit small. Well, that one just dropped right through. Don't want to have this thing stuck together with corrosion 30 years from now. Hope I'm alive in 30 years. So I'll put a little bit of grease on it. And we'll install it. Last tube's inserted. When you put grease on things, you can get them back apart. There we go. Job completed. Well, at least down to the bottom it is. I still have to straighten out the bent bumper, polish and straighten out the little door there that covers a little storage space under the bumper. Maybe next weekend. I think I'm done this weekend.